My beloved child. The silence you felt before opening this message was not empty, it was loaded with meaning and tension. Something has been closing quietly around your life, and the air itself has been shifting without explanation. This message begins at the exact moment the unseen becomes unavoidable. Archangel Michael says the season you are standing in is already dissolving behind you. What once felt permanent has loosened its grip without asking for permission. The change approaching does not ask for approval, it simply arrives. There has been a heaviness tied to where you currently live that you stopped noticing because you learned how to survive inside it. The walls around you have heard your silence more than your voice. This space has completed its assignment in your life. January carries a coded movement for you, one that was sealed long before you recognized the signs. You are not being pushed out by loss but pulled forward by alignment. What feels sudden will later be understood as overdue. Type Amen if you are ready to step into the next place prepared for you. 333. My beloved child. You may think the decision will come from outside circumstances, but the shift actually begins internally. A quiet detachment has already started, even if you try to ignore it. You are no longer rooted where you are standing. The next place you will live is not random or temporary. It carries a lighter atmosphere, a different rhythm, and a sense of permission to breathe again. This space supports who you are becoming, not who you were forced to be. There will be a moment when staying feels heavier than leaving, and that is your confirmation. The discomfort is not punishment, it is guidance. You are being redirected without chaos. The timing lines up in ways that feel too precise to be coincidence. January opens a door that was locked while you were still learning resilience. This move does not erase your past, it releases it. Type Amen if you feel the pull before the proof appears. 444. My beloved child. You will notice signs appearing repeatedly around you, confirming movement rather than fear. Conversations will surface unexpectedly, offering clarity without pressure. Even delays will work in your favor instead of against you. The place waiting for you holds peace in its corners and calm in its mornings. It may be smaller or simpler, but it carries emotional expansion. You will sleep differently there, deeper and uninterrupted. This move is not about escape, it is about placement. You are being positioned where your energy can finally settle. The noise that followed you will not follow you there. There is relief embedded in this transition that words cannot fully explain. You will realize how much weight you carried unnecessarily. The new space does not demand survival mode. Type Amen if you are ready to release what no longer fits. 555. There may be resistance from people who benefited from your stillness. Not everyone will understand why you are leaving, and that is acceptable. Their confusion does not cancel your clarity. My beloved child. Your decision will feel calm rather than rushed, firm rather than emotional. Even when details unfold quickly, your spirit will remain steady. That steadiness is your confirmation. You are not losing stability, you are redefining it. What once felt secure was actually restrictive. True stability arrives when you are aligned. This move activates a new chapter of independence and self-trust. You will handle things you once doubted yourself about. Confidence grows naturally in the right environment. Type Amen if you trust the direction even without explaining it. 777. There is also a financial alignment connected to this relocation. Expenses rearrange rather than overwhelm you. Support shows up in subtle but reliable ways. My beloved child, you will not be alone in this transition, even if it feels solitary at first. Guidance surrounds you quietly, working through timing and opportunity. Help appears exactly when needed. Your next home carries restoration energy. It allows reflection without heaviness. You begin to hear your own thoughts clearly again. This is not a downgrade or setback. It is a strategic repositioning. Everything about it serves your long-term peace. Type Amen if you accept peace over familiarity. 888. One detail about this move will surprise you in a positive way. Something you assumed would be difficult becomes effortless. That ease is intentional. You will decorate this new space differently, choosing comfort over appearance. The environment begins to reflect your true self. You stop shrinking unconsciously. There is a feeling of safety that settles quickly. Not the kind that traps, but the kind that frees. Your nervous system finally rests. The past version of you would have hesitated longer. The current version moves with certainty. Growth has already occurred. Type Amen if you recognize how far you've come. 999. This transition closes a cycle that lasted longer than intended. You stayed because you were learning endurance. Now you are learning discernment. My beloved child, do not underestimate the spiritual significance of location. Where you live influences how you think, feel, and heal. This move upgrades all three. You will sense a quiet blessing resting over the new place. It does not announce itself loudly. It simply feels right. This is not coincidence, delay, or accident. It is precision. Your life is being rearranged carefully. Type Amen if you are ready to receive what is aligned. 111. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. The days leading up to January will feel transitional, almost dreamlike. Old routines lose meaning. New habits begin forming naturally. Your intuition becomes sharper as the move approaches. You will know what to keep and what to leave behind. Letting go becomes easier. My beloved child, this relocation marks emotional independence. You stop seeking validation from environments that never supported you. Peace replaces explanation. Type Amen if you choose freedom over familiarity. 222. The energy shifts again as the calendar turns, and January steps forward as confirmation rather than confusion. What began as movement in December settles into clarity in January. The ground beneath you no longer feels unstable, it feels chosen. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says January is not a pause for you, it is a seal. The decision you made or were guided into becomes unquestionable. Doubt fades without needing reassurance. You will notice how quickly the new place starts to feel familiar. Not because it looks like home, but because your spirit recognizes safety. This recognition brings calm to your mornings and softness to your nights. My beloved child. January carries a quiet reward for your courage. It does not arrive loudly or dramatically. It arrives as peace that stays. Type Amen if you feel confirmation settling in. 333. My beloved child. The people around you begin responding to you differently in January. Your tone changes, your presence shifts, and others sense it without explanation. Respect replaces pressure. You are no longer explaining yourself or defending your decisions. The need to justify disappears naturally. Your confidence speaks without effort. This month reveals how necessary the move truly was. Situations you avoided before no longer exist. Emotional weight continues to dissolve. January allows you to unpack more than boxes. You unpack habits, memories, and attachments that overstayed their purpose. Each release creates more internal space. Type Amen if you are letting go with peace. 444. My beloved child. The new environment supports rest rather than survival. You wake up without heaviness pressing on your chest. Even silence feels supportive instead of lonely. You begin to notice small blessings appearing consistently. Timing works with you instead of against you. Nothing feels forced. This is the month where stability forms gently. Not rigid, not confining. Stable in a way that allows growth. Your nervous system begins to trust again. You stop bracing for disruption. Calm becomes your baseline. Type Amen if calm feels natural again. 555. My beloved child. January also brings emotional clarity about people connected to your past place. You understand without bitterness why distance was required. Compassion replaces confusion. Some connections fade quietly without conflict. Others adjust to your new boundaries. Peace remains intact. You no longer feel pulled backward. The past loses its emotional charge. Memory becomes neutral. This emotional freedom reflects in your physical surroundings. The new place feels lighter every day. Energy circulates freely. Type Amen if freedom feels real now. 666. There is also an internal shift in how you see yourself in December. You recognize strength you once overlooked. Confidence grows without arrogance. My beloved child. You trust your decisions more deeply. Even uncertainty feels manageable. Fear loses authority over your actions. January stabilizes your sense of self. You stop adapting to fit spaces that cannot hold you. Authenticity becomes effortless. You begin planning forward without anxiety. The future no longer feels like pressure. It feels like possibility. Type Amen if you trust yourself fully. 777. My beloved child. Financial flow adjusts smoothly this month. You manage with wisdom instead of stress. Needs are met without struggle. Unexpected support appears in subtle ways. Assistance arrives without humiliation or debt. Balance replaces scarcity thinking. January teaches you that provision does not always come through effort alone. Sometimes it comes through alignment. You are learning to receive. This lesson stays with you beyond the month. Trust becomes part of your foundation. Fear loses relevance. Type Amen if you receive with gratitude. 888. Emotionally, January brings warmth even in solitude. You enjoy your own company again. Peace becomes companionship. You decorate or arrange your space intuitively. Every choice reflects comfort rather than impression. The space mirrors your healing. You protect your peace intentionally. Boundaries feel natural instead of defensive. You no longer negotiate your well-being. This month closes a long internal chapter. You are no longer surviving transitions. You are living within them. Type Amen if you feel settled within yourself. 999. My beloved child. January ends with clarity rather than exhaustion. You look back without regret. You look forward without fear. What you thought was loss reveals itself as alignment. What you feared becomes foundation. What you trusted proves faithful. This is not the end of movement, but the beginning of stability. The ground beneath you is solid now. You are exactly where you need to be. As time moves forward from January, something subtle but powerful begins unfolding inside you. The move was not only about changing location, it was about changing frequency. The environment you are in now starts reshaping how you feel, think, and respond. My beloved child. Archangel Michael says. The new place is actively working with your spirit. Every day spent there removes an old layer of heaviness you once carried unknowingly. Healing is happening quietly, without effort. You will notice that your reactions soften. Situations that once triggered anxiety no longer control you. Calm becomes your first response instead of defense. The energy of this place supports clarity. Your thoughts slow down in a healthy way. Decisions feel grounded instead of rushed. Type Amen if you feel inner balance returning. 333. My beloved child. Your sleep deepens as weeks pass. Dreams become calmer and sometimes meaningful. Rest finally does what it was always meant to do, restore you. You begin waking up with purpose rather than pressure. Mornings feel lighter, even on busy days. There is no rush to escape the day anymore. This space does not drain you. It gives back what other places took. Your body responds with ease. You may find yourself smiling for no specific reason. That is your nervous system recognizing safety. Peace no longer feels temporary. Type Amen if rest feels real again. 444. My beloved child. Your creativity begins to reawaken. Ideas come naturally instead of being forced. Inspiration replaces exhaustion. You may feel drawn to rearrange your routine. This is alignment adjusting your flow. Everything begins to fit together smoothly. Confidence builds quietly in this environment. You no longer doubt your worth when you walk into a room. Presence replaces insecurity. This place allows you to expand without permission. You take up space comfortably. You no longer shrink to be accepted. Type Amen if you feel confident in your presence. 555. My beloved child. Relationships also respond to your new frequency. Healthier connections strengthen naturally. Unhealthy dynamics fade without confrontation. You attract people who respect your boundaries. Communication becomes easier. You are understood without over-explaining. The loneliness you once feared does not follow you here. Solitude feels peaceful instead of empty. You enjoy your own company again. This shift is not accidental. Your environment now matches your growth. You are finally supported. Type Amen if relationships feel lighter now. 666. My beloved child. Emotionally, you stop revisiting old wounds. The past no longer demands attention. Healing completes itself without reopening pain. You forgive without effort. Not because you are forcing closure, but because peace matters more now. Detachment becomes natural. This emotional maturity changes how you move through life. You choose calm over conflict automatically. Strength replaces reaction. Your inner voice grows stronger. You trust it without second-guessing. Guidance feels clear. Type Amen if emotional freedom feels natural. 777. My beloved child. Financial awareness sharpens in this new phase. You make wiser choices without stress. Stability grows through intention. Opportunities align with your new mindset. You no longer chase. Things come toward you. This environment supports growth rather than struggle. Progress feels sustainable. You are building, not surviving. Confidence around money replaces fear. Balance becomes your norm. Type Amen if stability is forming steadily. 888. My beloved child. Spiritually, you feel more connected without effort. Stillness feels meaningful. Silence feels supportive. You do not search for signs anxiously anymore. Confirmation arrives gently. Trust deepens naturally. My beloved child. You realize that the move was guided all along. Nothing was rushed or delayed. Everything unfolded in order. Gratitude replaces worry. You feel protected rather than uncertain. Peace becomes your anchor. Type Amen if you trust the path completely. 999. My beloved child. This new chapter is not loud or dramatic. It is steady, grounded, and intentional. You are no longer proving anything to anyone. The place you live now mirrors who you are becoming. Calm, strong, and aligned. This is your foundation. What comes next builds on this piece. Nothing will shake it easily. You are positioned well. Once the dust of the move fully settles, a deeper shift begins to reveal itself. This phase is quieter but far more powerful than the chaos that came before it. What unfolds now is not about change, it is about expansion. My beloved child. You begin to notice how steady your emotions have become. Reactions that once pulled you into stress no longer have access to you. You remain centered even when circumstances fluctuate. Your sense of control returns, not through force, but through clarity. You choose where to give energy and where to remain silent. This discernment protects your peace. There is a growing feeling that you are finally standing on your own ground. Nothing feels borrowed or temporary. This stability is yours. Type Amen if you feel grounded where you stand. 333. My beloved child. Your daily rhythm starts aligning naturally with your energy. You no longer push yourself beyond capacity. Balance becomes instinctive. Time feels different now. Days feel full without being exhausting. You accomplish more while feeling calmer. You stop rushing toward the future. You live inside the present with confidence. Patience replaces urgency. This grounded pace attracts better outcomes. Things come together smoothly. Resistance fades. Type Amen if life feels smoother now. 444. You also become more protective of your inner world. Not defensive, but intentional. Peace is no longer negotiable. My beloved child. You choose environments and conversations that nourish you. Anything draining feels obvious and avoidable. Awareness sharpens. Your boundaries strengthen without creating distance. Respect becomes the standard around you. Others adapt naturally. This shift earns you quiet authority. You do not demand respect, you carry it. Presence speaks for you. Type Amen if your boundaries feel strong and calm. 555. A new sense of confidence begins to shape your identity. You trust your instincts without hesitation. Decisions feel clean and final. You no longer replay conversations or second-guess actions. Closure happens internally. Mental clarity expands. This clarity brings emotional freedom. You feel lighter without trying. Peace becomes your default state. Your confidence is steady, not loud. It does not seek validation. It simply exists. Type Amen if confidence feels natural. 666. There is also a subtle shift in how opportunities approach you. You are no longer chasing alignment. Alignment finds you. Situations arrange themselves in your favor quietly. Progress feels supported rather than earned through struggle. Flow replaces force. You begin attracting outcomes that match your calm. Stability continues building layer by layer. Nothing feels rushed. This phase teaches you that ease is not laziness. It is alignment responding correctly. You are learning to trust ease. Type Amen if ease feels deserved. 777. Emotionally, you stop revisiting the same lessons. Growth stabilizes. You move forward without dragging the past. You feel complete within yourself. Not perfect, but whole. Wholeness removes desperation. You enjoy your own space deeply. Solitude feels rich, not empty. Independence strengthens. This self-connection becomes your anchor. You are not easily shaken anymore. Peace holds firm. Type Amen if inner strength feels steady. 888. As this phase continues, your future begins forming from a place of calm intention. You plan without fear. You act without pressure. The version of you that survived no longer leads. The version of you that trusts takes over. This changes everything. You are no longer preparing for life. You are living it with awareness. Each step feels deliberate. This is not the end of the message, only the deepening of it. What comes next builds on this strength. After you settle fully into your new rhythm, life begins responding differently to your presence. This is not coincidence, it is alignment taking shape. The outer world starts reflecting the inner stability you have built. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says this phase marks the moment when things no longer feel delayed. Movement returns, but it is calm and purposeful. Progress arrives without resistance. You notice that people listen to you more carefully now. Your words carry weight without force. Respect follows naturally. This authority does not come from control. It comes from self-trust. Others sense that you are anchored. Type Amen if you feel respected without effort. 333. Opportunities begin appearing in practical ways. Not overwhelming, not chaotic. Just steady openings that feel aligned. You are able to choose rather than grab. Discernment guides your actions. Each yes feels intentional. There is no fear of missing out. You trust that what is meant for you will reach you. This trust keeps you calm. Progress feels sustainable. You build without burning out. Balance stays intact. Type Amen if alignment feels steady. 444. Your sense of identity strengthens even more in this stage. You stop defining yourself by past circumstances. The old labels fall away. You see yourself clearly now. Capable, grounded, and prepared. Confidence no longer needs proof. This clarity changes how you approach challenges. You respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally. Wisdom leads. Your growth becomes visible without explanation. People notice the difference. You do not announce it. Type Amen if self-trust feels complete. 555. Emotionally, you feel secure within yourself. Validation from others loses importance. Inner peace becomes priority. You enjoy connection without attachment. Relationships feel lighter and healthier. Freedom and closeness coexist. You no longer fear being misunderstood. Authenticity matters more than approval. Truth feels comfortable. This emotional maturity protects your peace. You are not pulled into unnecessary drama. Calm remains. Type Amen if emotional freedom feels stable. 666. Financially, this phase brings steadiness. Not sudden extremes, but consistent flow. You manage wisely without pressure. Your relationship with money becomes balanced. Fear dissolves. Confidence replaces worry. You feel capable of handling responsibilities. Independence feels empowering rather than heavy. Stability grows. This sense of security supports your long-term vision. You plan with confidence. The future feels open. Type Amen if stability feels secure. 777. Spiritually, you feel supported rather than tested. You are no longer bracing for lessons. Peace becomes the teacher. Silence feels nourishing. Stillness feels meaningful. Guidance feels present. You trust the process fully now. Doubt no longer interrupts your flow. Faith becomes quiet confidence. This connection anchors you through everything. You move forward with assurance. You are protected. Type Amen if trust feels unshakable. 888. As this phase unfolds, you realize that life is no longer happening to you. It is happening with you. You co-create instead of endure. Choice replaces reaction. Awareness guides action. This is a stable chapter, built on clarity and calm. Nothing is rushed. Everything is intentional.